Okay, I've got a little issue to solve here. And what it is, this is a flat piece. This is like one of those over in that window over there I've been putting. As you see, if you have this flat piece, if you see when you put it against here, you've got these big holes. And, you know, and what this is going to do is, you know, go from here down to here to, you know, to seal the window up on the other side. But I can't have these big gaping holes here, so what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to cut pieces of this 1x2 on the table saw and make little inserts like this, so that, you know, when I get this window down, so that when the bottom of the window comes down here, it's got this this thing to nail against, to where you can kind of seal this up pretty well. Now it's not perfect. There's a little gap right there, and there's actually a gap behind here, but what it will do is it'll seal most of it up to where the little cracks I can seal up with some foam expanding stuff or something like that, so it'll make it a lot easier. And it'll also provide a little better strength backing for this stuff than just nothing here. So that's what I'm going to do. I have to go to the lumber store and get a bunch of these 1x2s and cut them all like that. For the other side, I'm going to need, I don't know, probably 50 of them or more. But that's how I'm going to solve that on this side. Now this other stuff isn't going to be too much of a problem. Let me show you why. I'm going to be using this corrugated stuff for the rest of the windows because I only have enough of that flat stuff for that far side. But as you can see, see how it hits here and it hits here. It does match this. It's just that when you're done, you have these two empty spots. So what I think I can do is use this as is, and all I've got to do is fill in this with some, you know, some kind of expanding foam or something, and that ought to do quite nice. So it's going to be, you know, like this, overlap like that, and then what I'll have to do is on the inside, you know, fill up those holes, and I think this will work great. So that's how I'm going to do the windows. So I better get some 1x2s, and these are pretty cheap. Go down to the lumber store and get some 1x2s and cut them up and start putting them on the other side over there. Okay, what I'm doing right now is I'm cutting those pieces of lexan that I was telling you about, and I'm going to just hang them up here for sizing right now. You can see I've put the little spacer boards under this. I'm going to have to take them off again and paint them because I don't want them bare wood like that. But anyway, what I got to do is drill a couple of holes in the top and just sort of hang them up right now just to see how they fit. So here's one. And one kind of in the middle. One on the end again. Okay, we'll start with the one in the middle because that's the easiest one to do. So what we'll do is I'm going to set that up where it looks about right. How's that? Yeah, that looks right. Okay. Okay, now these are all loose. They're just in there to hold it up in place. But as you can see, it's going to go across right there pretty nice. So now what I got to do is cut the rest of them up and spread them out across and see how many, you know, how much coverage I have and whether I have enough to do this whole thing or I'm going to have to plan for something else. So I'll go cut another one right now. Okay, this is as far as I got with the plastic that I had, but you can see I'm just short about 4 feet or so, just short about 4 feet. So I can do something else with this, or what I might be able to do is I have a lot of scraps, and I might be able to make 2 or 3 windows that I can open and spread these out and still cover the whole thing with this stuff. So I've got some options. But anyway, that was a good find because I've had this plastic laying around. It's from the other greenhouse, and actually it was on this side of the greenhouse is where it was installed. And it's just scrap left over, and it needs to be cleaned. But I don't know, what is that? 1, 2, 3. It's probably $300, $200 worth of plastic here. So that was a good find. So tomorrow I'll maybe do a little strategy here and see where I can fill in some holes or put in some windows or something, and maybe spread this out a little bit, or just cover that end down there up and say, well, we'll call that good. Well, hey, you just saw me fasten this top bar on here, and that's how we're going to put these windows on. If you can see the way I built this, behind here, this area right here, what this is screwed down to is going to be the sill, or where the window, these plastic sheets are going to be placed against. How would you say that? I always have trouble searching for words. But anyway, they're going to be fastened on that 2x4 and then capped on this side with this 2x4. We're going to do the same thing here, except as you saw earlier, I don't have a 2x4 across here, so I've got all these little spacers I put them on earlier, and what we're going to do is put a 2x4 like this across the bottom, using those spacers as a spacer, a sealing thing. Hang on, let me just do this. Okay, we're going to use those spacers there as an area to seal up the cracks and also give us some hard wood to nail against. So here we go. I'm going to screw these in yet because, as you can see, there's kind of a bulge in here, and what I've got to do is put the support behind this seam first, and then I'll get that all flattened up, and then we'll secure the rest of this. So alright, now as you can see, I've got a bottom window sill and a top, and then I've got these two in place, and I've got to put one here because that's where the 4x4 post is. Got to put one here because that's where the seam in the window is, and I've got to go all the way, rest of the way across the back of this greenhouse like that. But it's working, it's working. I had a little warpage in this window and I had to play with it. I learned a couple things, like you got to take the screws out of the top because sometimes the windows weren't exactly straight to begin with. So you got to be able to adjust them, in other words, when you're putting some of these sill plates on these boards. But anyway, it looks like it's going to work, and I'll get the rest of this done and show you the results. Okay, good and solid, and I'm going to put another board on the back side here just to hold it against, hold against it, so it'll be nice and solid. But that's on there solid. Now, what I've got to do is I've got to make a window here, like I told you before, and now I'm got to make a decision whether to just build one myself out of some of the old scraps I've got. So I've got nothing anymore that's this big, so I can't put another full window in here. And like I said before, I need to be able to open it up and so forth for ventilation and to let the bees in and things like that. And so I could either just go down to the hardware store and buy a pre-made window and make a framing here that goes with it so that it's a sliding window or something like that. Or I could just put one together. So I'll have to figure out what to do, because I do have quite a few scraps of this. Like I said, nothing that big, but I might be able to put together something that looks like a 4-pane window or something like that out of some scraps. So let me figure it out. I think I'm going to quit for today though, because that's enough. See, looking down there, see, there we go. We've just got this end to do. Like I said, I got to figure out what to do there. But I've got all of the windows in with that scrap plastic that I had off of the hoop greenhouse.
Uh-huh.
Not bad, not bad.